kids that are doing it. I also want to make you aware, if you do have me for a record book training, I'll be using the same information through this, but it'll be a little more in-depth for your 4-H families to get kind of a better feel for everything. So, of course, we know the purpose and objective is to showcase what our 4-H members have grown over the years, what they've learned. They get to express their creativity, all that fun stuff. This year, we are changing it into a little bit more of documentation that 4-H members can use for the 4-H Foundation Scholarship. So a lot of it's going to reflect the same questions that they get for that 4-H Foundation Scholarship to copy and paste over. We also want to make sure that their narratives kind of align with the overall college applications, and we'll go into depth with that. But the same prompts, that way kids are getting prepared to apply for college and have that documentation written down. And not only is it viewed by them, but other judges as well to provide feedback so that they're college ready. And then, of course, they still get to compete at county, district, and state level if they qualify. So the first change of the year is we no longer have animal agriculture as a category. We've added new / open self-directed projects. I do want to add here and preface that if your 4-H members fit into a different category, please make sure that they enter that and not just select open or self-directed. That category is going to be more aimed towards a self-led project that a youth might have started. An example that was given was the entrepreneurship that they participated at Texas 4-H Roundup. Kids were creating buttons, those kinds of things. And so that kind of project would go into self-directed because that is something they did on their own, not necessarily as another project area. There are descriptions on the Texas 4-H website as well to kind of go a little more in depth. We also did clarify some of the examples and project areas. For example, like livestock judging is not a project, but it supports your project area that you choose. New again this year is Z Suites. I've been telling everybody this. It's been coming for a few years. We no longer have a contract with them. So record books will not be used on Z Suites. We are still looking for an online version or online platform for people to kind of go to reporting in the future. That's still being worked on, but we only have the Word that is accessible to use off the Texas 4-H website. So some of the general guidelines and rules that have changed this year is that the headers are not allowed to be removed or the instructions at any point on the pages. There is a part for scoring in the general guidelines on the new scorecard that if they do remove them, that it is not going to be accepted because some of the prompts change throughout the year. All record books have to be typed this year. No handwritten books are allowed. Previously, handwritten books could be submitted at the county, district, and state level. We do understand that the concern is some kids that are junior age might not be able to type a whole record book out. That's okay. Parents are allowed to assist in helping them type that written presentation that they have. Of course, grammar and punctuation is going to be highly encouraged to use good grammar throughout the narratives and report forms. The page margins are going to stay the same with that 1.5 inch on the left-hand side. I do want to add, if you're going to tell people to download the new Word on their computer, the Word document, the margins are not set correctly. I am working with Jana Barrett to make sure that we get the standard margins put on there, but if they download the version right now, they are not the 1.5 inch margin. So just keep that in mind. And then if you are at the county level submitting at the like in person instead of online, you can just use typing paper or bond weight paper. You do not need to put any type of construction paper or any sheet protectors, dividers, or anything of that nature. Creativity is also going to change this year. All creativity should be digital. Nothing should be drawn on there at any point. And then you can only use color or black fonts are acceptable. Usually blue color is what we lean more towards. And then there is a new minimum required font. So you have to use a minimum of 10-point font. 12-point single space will be throughout the narratives. The reports and stuff, if you will need to fit it on the single page, you can use that 10-point font, but they were really advocating for 12 points, so it's easier for the judges to read. You also need to use Times Roman, Arial, and Calibri. So a new portion going into more of the story areas is the 4-H story and photo portfolio is no longer required. It will be replaced with one narrative, and this is going to be kind of what the summary page looks like for people to use as guidelines and print out. That narrative will not have photos inside of it. There will be a photo portfolio page with a minimum 4 to 6 photos. They are encouraged to put different collages together. If that's what they want to do, they can put different labels for each of the photos, but there will be a separate section for that outside of the narrative. The report forms will stay the same, except other 4-H projects is no longer going to be a part of that report form. There will be a new college and career exploration narrative that's only required of intermediate and seniors, and then an essay prompt narrative that is only required for seniors, and that prompt is changing every year. For 2025-2026, the check sheet has been removed. If you are using or still have that check sheet, a part of it is not required for district or state level. County, it shouldn't be required either. I would advocate for those youth to remove that check sheet from their record book since it's not a part of the 25-26 book. The personal information page is still going to be on the record book. It just verifies the age, division, and category when being downloaded, and then it will not be judged either. I do want to preface, and I tell 4-H members this as well, the county extension agent's signature is not required because if they advance to state and 4-H Online, you approving that registration is the signature of the county agent or county office certifying that they are advancing to the next level. Any questions to this point before we get into narratives? Okay. So, new narrative guidelines. The goal, as I've said, is to put this towards Texas 4-H scholarship. They are limited to that 3,500 characters, and I do want to add to this, for the scholarship, if you have seniors applying for it, they do count spaces. I'm not sure at this moment if the 3,500 characters in the record book also counts spaces, but I do know for the scholarship they do. It will be single spaced, and again, you'll use that Times New Roman, Calibri, or Arial font, 12-point size. It's encouraged that they write in first person and reflect on their own experiences. Narratives should be authentic, personal, and demonstrate growth rather than just listing out their activities that they've participated throughout their 4-H career. We're going to emphasize quality of experience over quantity. So really focusing on lessons learned, goals achieved, any challenges that they've overcome, impacts that they've made on themselves or within the community. But this is still that opportunity where they get to explain who they are to the reader in that 3,500 character limit. So going a little more in depth on each one of the narratives, the first one is all about me. Every age division will complete this, and it is that personal reflection that summarizes the 4-H journey. And the second one is going to be your college and career exploration narrative, and this is for intermediate and senior. And the prompt for this one is, as of today, what career would you choose, and how have your 4-H projects shaped or supported your goal? You'll explain your 4-H experience and connect that to your career interest. And I do add at this time too, if you have an intermediate or senior that's participating in something that they absolutely hated, and I always use the example of myself going and being a vet tech for a week, and I absolutely hate that experience, that's part of shaping my career goals. So if youth are having a hard time brainstorming, you can tell them kind of think about everything that's helped them shape that portion to get to where they want to be for their career. And then lastly is the essay prompt narrative, and this is for seniors only. It will change year to year. So that's why it's important that they use the actual form and make sure that it's up to date. But this prompt this year is describe a challenge you faced and how you overcame it, or explain a new leadership role you took on. What did you learn about yourself, and how was the experience shaped your goals, values, or approach to life? They really want you to focus on resilience, your leadership, and personal growth here, but using specific examples that you have overcome. And this will help in writing some of those 4-H scholarships as well, and some of your college essays too. So just keep in mind, if you do have seniors, this prompt is going to change, and it does have that 3,500 character limit too. I'm getting into the 4-H year in photos. So this is going to be that photo portfolio that's one page. It will have a minimum of 4 to 6 photos. It should represent your 4-H year or your whole 4-H year. It doesn't necessarily have to be from this past year. You can be creative by using captions, different layouts, collages to help tell your 4-H journey, but they should reflect on specifically 4-H personal highlights. We're not looking for anything outside of the 4-H career. It'll also show that your involvement and experiences, but this will be a separate page from your written narrative, and it does not count towards your page limit, but it is one page only. So don't put more than 2 or 3 pages within the book. Getting into the report forms, are there any questions about the narrative? Okay. So again, the report forms are going to stay the same. They'll be the same for all age divisions. They'll request the same content, and then you'll have that number of entries that you're allowed to submit for junior, intermediate, and senior. And the new thing is we are capturing all 4-H years, not just the preceding 3 years in 4-H. So that first one's going to be project experiences. You're going to include still up to 4 projects, but it'll be your current year in all preceding years, except Clover Kid years. So no Clover Kid years within your 4-H book. Keep in mind that you want to stress quality. I know once we get into that senior level of youth members is the quality of the 4-H projects. We don't necessarily want to include everything, but if they have 4 projects they're heavily invested in, this is where I would advocate to put those and express their knowledge in them. There will be maximum page limits here. Juniors will be 4 pages, intermediates 5, and seniors 6. The questions that it'll prompt will be is what is your projects? Did your projects change or grow? And then what have you done? And what have you learned in your project? You can include any learning experience that you gained in your community, but it has to be applicable to the 4-H project you have selected. And this can even be that individual directed project learning experience as well. In section 2, it's going to stay the same as well with that table column going into your leadership experiences. You'll include the year, leadership activity, role, and level. You'll also put the responsibilities, duties, and accomplishments with the level coding of which level you participated on, whether it's club all the way to international. You'll list what you did to assist others throughout the 4-H year and any general leadership that you took on. I know what comes to mind is like club officers, county council, district council, but also think about your youth ambassadors. They're participating at a state level. So kind of think about those things that we might not capture with the specific title as a club officer. Again, you'll include all 4-H years preceding and this year, but not Clover Kid years within this report. You'll still have that same number of entries and page limits. So juniors are going to be 10 entries, 1 page, intermediates 15, 2 pages, and seniors 25 entries and 3 pages. Section 3 will be that community service. Again, same table format with the year, role, service activity, and importance and impact. You'll include all preceding years, not Clover Kid years, with the same entry limits. You'll really be asking yourself, what did I do to help other people because of 4-H? Don't include community service if you're representing a different organization. Just make sure it is specific to 4-H. And I would stress, as doing a scholarship training prior to this, really focus on the importance and impact that you had as a youth on the community and what that meant to you, instead of what impact it had on you in this section. So again, that section 4-H other project areas has been completely removed. There is no other projects. So you only list that 4 in section 1. Section 4 is going to be, or the new section 4 is going to be the recognition and awards. It has the same table format. You'll use the same preceding years, no Clover Kid years with the same level of entries. I also want to emphasize quality of awards. And I say this again, having the Scholarship Foundation knowledge. They want to really have quality over quantity. And I know that sounds kind of different, but they were seeing a lot previously in scholarships and in record books that people were listing grand champion, grand champion, grand champion for all their awards, which is very great and be proud of your awards. but show a little diversity. What awards have you won on the district, state level contest? Is there something that you've won on the county contest for awards? Think about all those kinds of things. Was there some way that you were recognized as a 4-H member that means something special to you? So if you're helping your kids brainstorm, think about all the aspects that they could have won an award to showcase what they've done in their 4-H year and how that's paid off. We'll still have that section 6, or I guess the new section 5. I didn't update that. Non 4-H activities. So this one is gonna stay the same. It'll have the current year and 3 preceding years. For juniors, 2 preceding. It is not your whole career. So this one still does have that year limit. We are still limiting to 1 page, and of course, you'll limit any type of community service, leadership, awards, recognition that you participated in outside of 4-H. And that college and career exploration, the question, that table that we all know and love is still on there. And it says, as of today, career would you choose? This is not going to be the career narrative. So they'll still list in the table all of the different career options or different work studies or skills developed that they participated in to put in that table that led them to the career that they wanted to choose. And it will go back from your current year and all preceding years with the same number of entries and page requirements. That's when after it will be the career exploration and narrative. And like I said, when I do this presentation with 4-H members, or you have me do it with 4-H members, I do give examples and go a lot more in depth with this. This is just going over general record book changes so that you can answer questions at the county level too. There is a new score sheet that we will be using this year. I'll have to be working on my WordPress to make sure that it calculates right. But the bottom 2 sections, same as we do if you're familiar with Food Show or Food Challenge, for juniors and intermediates, we leave part of that blank. So same thing with the college and career, since it's only required for intermediate and senior, you would leave it blank for for juniors, and then seniors for the narrative, you'll leave that blank for intermediates and juniors. That is all the changes. I know it was fast, but is there any questions that I have at this point? Okay, well, that is all I have. I'll be hanging on in case there are any other questions that are not within the record book. If you do think